Let's dive into 5 of the most disturbing real-life instances, ranked from least extreme to the most horrifying. At number 5, we have the Fore Tribe in Papua New Guinea. For generations, the tribe practiced ritual cannibalism. When a member died, their family and tribe would consume the body as part of the mourning process. It was believed to honor the deceased and allow their spirit to live on within the tribe. Sounds bizarre, right? But here's the kicker. This practice led to an unintended epidemic in the 1950s, when scientists discovered that the consumption of human brain tissue was transmitting a disease called kuru, a form of prion disease that causes brain degeneration. The disease caused uncontrollable shaking, cognitive decline, and eventual death. The Fore were unaware that their ritual led to this horrifying illness, making their cannibalism both an act of reverence and a cause of tragedy. At number 4, we have one of the most famous instances of survival cannibalism, which took place in 1972. A plane carrying a rugby team from Uruguay crashed in the Andes Mountains, leaving 16 survivors stranded in freezing conditions without food or shelter. With no way to signal for help, they were trapped for 72 days in the mountains. Imagine that, 72 days in freezing cold, with no food or escape. In order to survive, the survivors made the unimaginable choice to eat the bodies of the deceased. It was a decision driven by desperation. They had no choice but to resort to cannibalism to stay alive. The survivors, most of whom were badly injured, faced the mental torment of choosing between dying from starvation or eating the bodies of their friends and family. Eventually, some of them were rescued, but the story remains one of the most tragic and morally complex instances of human cannibalism. At number 3, we have the Donner Party, a group of 87 pioneers heading west in the mid-1800s. After becoming stranded in the Sierra Nevada mountains during a brutal winter, the pioneers found themselves trapped by snow with dwindling supplies. As days turned into weeks, many of them starved to death or froze, and the survivors were left with no choice but to consume the bodies of the dead to stay alive. While many sources claim the cannibalism began as a last resort, some accounts suggest that the survivors were even forced to eat the bodies of their own family members. At number 2, we have a German man, Armin Meiwes, who killed for pleasure. Meiwes met a man named Bernd Jürgen Brandes online. The two shared a twisted fascination with cannibalism, and Brandes agreed to be voluntarily killed and eaten by Meiwes. This is some sick stuff, right? Meiwes stabbed Brandes in the throat, then ate parts of his body while Brandes was still alive, even cooking and consuming some of his flesh. And finally, at number 1, we have Gilberto Guerrero. In the 1990s, in Mexico City, Gilberto became notorious for his horrific crimes. He is known to have lured victims into his apartment, where he would kill them and then consume parts of their bodies. This is a whole different level of twisted. He was active for months, but his crimes went undetected for a long time. Gilberto's motive was pure sadism. He didn't commit the murders for survival or ritual. He simply enjoyed the act of killing and consuming human flesh. His case remains one of the most chilling and depraved examples of cannibalism, driven by a killer's psychotic obsession.